Here at Chris 6, we cover the stories that matter to you. Neighbors in Robstown are concerned over speeding drivers near the Tesla plant. We'll show you how law enforcement is taking action to potentially fix the problem. Plus,
more expensive imports. I'm Michaela Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. I'll tell you how a new tariff announcement is going to affect local businesses that rely on imported goods and how that could even affect you.
And right now we're going to go ahead and take a live look from our SPID Skycam. Traffic appears to be flowing pretty smoothly this morning, but of course we will check in with meteorologist Julia Quady. She'll have a look at your roadways this morning and a look at your forecast. It's Friday, April 4th. Your Chris 6 Sunrise starts now. Good morning, folks. Happy Friday and welcome to Chris 6 News Sunrise. Thank you so much for starting your Friday with us. I'm Michelle Hoffman. Brian Hoffman is off. Steph is kind of off, but we do have meteorologist Julia Quady with us. I just said Steph was off, so obviously it's Friday. We're ready to get this week done.
Yes, I'm ready for the weekend.
Yeah, you got to shake that off real quick for our Friday dance. Yeah, thank you. So anyways, what's going on with our traffic?
Well, traffic's going to be looking pretty good across most of the area, but first let's go ahead and take a look at our current visibility, where across the coastal bend looking at pretty decent visibility at the moment, 10 miles across most of our neighborhoods. The only areas that are going to be dealing with a little bit of a development of sea fog at the moment is going to be areas like Rockport, Port Aransas, and just a tad bit of Flower Bluff and over in NAS Corpus Christi, around 4 miles of visibility at this moment. That sea fog is still going to continue to develop just because of all this moisture that is at play coming in from those southeasterly winds. But again, those winds are coming in at a pretty fast pace, so thankfully we're not going to see an increase of that fog spreading throughout other areas in the coastal bend. But let's go and take a look now at some traffic flow maps heading from our Whataburger Skycam of Whataburger Field. We can see the Harbor Bridge there. So folks are driving in and out of the Portland area, looking at pretty easy driving conditions at the moment with no traffic issues. But again, you just want to make sure you're driving carefully on the count of those faster wind speeds coming in from the southeast, gusting around 35 up to maybe 40 miles an hour later on this afternoon too. About more details, what else you can expect in your forecast today and for this upcoming weekend in just a few minutes.
Julia, thank you so much. So China just announced this morning it will impose reciprocal 34% tariffs on all imports from the U.S. on April 10th. This after President Donald Trump unveiled an additional 34% tariff on Chinese goods on Wednesday. The president also announced tariffs of a minimum of 10% on all countries. A tariff, simply put, is a tax on goods that are shipped in from other countries. The new tariffs add to a sweep already in place aimed at returning factories and jobs to the U.S., but U.S. businesses will be forced to pay added costs and likely pass that on to you on everything from computers, clothes, and groceries. So one key industry people are talking about, cars. Whether it's a new car or parts for your trusty ride, expect those prices to be driven up in the coming months. Right now, tariffs on automobiles are 25%. Neighborhood news reporter Tony Jaramillo spoke with Mike Terrares, the general manager of BMW Corpus Christi, who said while some cars will be impacted, many of their models are built here in the U.S., which could spare customers from price hikes.
Some manufacturers, they've come out, BMW in particular has actually come out and said inventory units, inbound units, we're going to keep the same price, we're not raising anything. Some other manufacturers have decided not to do that.
Now, economists say the impacts of the new levies on investors and the global automotive industry will play out over the next months, even years to come. So in Robstown, the intersection of County Roads 30 and 79 has become a hotspot for accidents, with drivers speeding past stop signs. There was an accident on Tuesday at the intersection near the Tesla plant, which led neighbors to take videos and contact Chris 6 for help. Neighborhood news reporter Tyrese Boone spoke to a neighbor who's seen it firsthand.
I think that patrolling needs to happen, especially in the morning when almost my entire neighborhood are busing their children off to Driscoll ISD.
The Nueces County Sheriff's Office announced they will increase patrol in the area.
Hey there, good morning, happy Friday. So heading out the door, dealing with the exact same conditions that we've been dealing with here in the Coastal Bend over the past few days this week. It's muggy, it's humid, it's warm, and it's windy. So we can see right now, taking a look at those current temperatures, we can see here in Corpus Christi waking up to a temperature of 77 degrees, 76 over in Beeville, 75 degrees in Port Aransas, 75 in Rockport, 80 degrees already over in Kingsville. We can see those winds are clocking in around 15 to 20 miles an hour depending on where you are. So those faster wind speeds are still a consistent factor in our forecast for now. As I kind of noted on Monday, we will be seeing these windy conditions sticking around with us until the end of your work week, and it's still in the forecast right now. We can see visibility is pretty clear across the area, just a bit of some lingering sea fog throughout some of our coastal neighborhoods like Port Aransas and over in Rockport, dealing with around 4 miles of visibility at the moment this morning. Now, we are going to be looking at a bit of a decrease in our high temperatures today. Still going to be hot, still going to be muggy, still going to kind of somewhat be in for that stint of summertime, still persistent in the forecast, but we won't hopefully be seeing any of our air temperatures reaching the triple digits by this afternoon, having a forecast high temperature of 89 degrees here in Corpus Christi, 91 over in Robstown, 92 in Kingsville, 97 degrees for your high temperature later on this afternoon over in Alice. So a bit of an improvement on that front, somewhat, as we're not going to have, again, those air temperatures reaching the triple digits, but we will be seeing our feel like temperatures still making it towards those numbers by this afternoon. By 3, 4 o'clock, we'll be reaching towards the triple digits here in Corpus Christi. 103 degrees for your feel like temperature in Robstown, 104 in Kingsville, and 102 degrees over in Alice for how it's going to feel to your body when you're stepping outdoors by the later hours this afternoon. But the good news is, if you're tired of this summer-like weather that we're having here in the springtime, we will be having some changes in the forecast coming in this upcoming weekend, and that's going to be by way of this cold front that is just now starting to pass on through portions of central Texas, just approaching now Austin. That cold front will reach its way here in the Coastal Bend by the time we reach your Saturday, heading towards your Sunday, and bring along with it, we could see some rain chances coming into the forecast. Not looking very promising, but we could see some passing showers early in the morning on your Saturday, and then maybe potentially another round late on your Saturday. But again, not looking at anything really truly beneficial in terms of rainfall amounts from this potential rain event as that cold front passes on through. But we'll also see a big cool down in our temperatures this weekend after that cold front passes through, heading towards your Sunday. Looking at our big cool down, our temperatures dropping well below average to a high temperature of 69 degrees on your Sunday. And that cooler, well below average temperatures will stick around the forecast throughout the early part of next week. We will start to increase, though, to warmer temperatures and towards more seasonable temperatures by the midweek next week.
Julia, thank you so much. So the clock is ticking for TikTok. President Trump's executive order delaying a ban on TikTok's Chinese ownership is set to expire tomorrow. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed joins us live this morning, and we'll have more on that in just a bit. All right, welcome back, folks. Here is a live look from our Whataburger Skycam pointed at downtown Corpus Christi. Looking pretty good so far, but you do see a little bit of shake on that camera. That means the wind's blowing. Wind speeds are pretty high, but of course, we will check in with meteorologist Julia Quady to see how our forecast is shaping up for this Friday and the weekend. But first, we have some of your national headlines. So the clock is ticking for TikTok. President Trump's executive order delaying a ban on TikTok's Chinese ownership is set to expire tomorrow. Scripps News Group Nathaniel Reed joins us live now this morning. Good morning, Nathaniel. So the White House says it's crafting a plan to avoid the ban. Is there any chance that the deal will be finalized today?
Yeah, Michelle, that is one of the biggest outstanding questions as we wake up this morning. It's the fate of TikTok in just 24 hours. Could you open the app tomorrow and find that same message we saw at the tail end of the Biden administration that the ban had been blocked? You might remember that Congress, during the last administration, signed a bill, bipartisan bill, to block the app if it didn't divest from its Chinese ownership. National security officials have said repeatedly they have concerns that the Chinese Communist Party can see your data on the TikTok app, and for that reason, they wanted it to be divested. Now, the TikTok owner, ByteDance, has said repeatedly that that security concern is not an issue. Then again, President Trump signed a temporary executive order at the beginning of his presidency to delay the ban of TikTok. That delay runs through tomorrow. Again, a lot of questions about whether he'll be able to finalize some sort of American ownership group that would be suitable to the app's Chinese owner for them to purchase it. Investors are already lining up, including Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. A number of other investors also reportedly throwing their hats in the ring this week, including reportedly, Amazon. President Trump addressing this on Air Force One yesterday.
We're very close to a deal with a very good group of people for TikTok.
Larry Ellison, or is it multiple investors? Just
Multiple. I think that China maybe will call and say, well, we're upset with the tariffs, and maybe they want to get something a little bit in order to get TikTok approved. Who knows?
Is there plans underway to speak to Xi?
I have no knowledge of that.
And Michelle, fascinating to hear President Trump trying to equate a deal on TikTok with his tariff policy. Very real possibility here that as part of this negotiation, he could try and get TikTok to be sold, get an agreement from the Chinese Communist Party and from TikTok's owner, ByteDance, in exchange for possibly lowering some of the tariffs on China. We just saw this morning China has reciprocated with massive tariffs on U.S. imports as well. Again, a lot of pressure here to get to a deal, and questions whether the app would be even willing to sell itself to an American ownership group. As the artist Kesha says, TikTok on the clock. We could see a ban on the app as soon as tomorrow morning.
Yeah, we shall see. Thank you so much for your time today, Nate. I hope you have a great weekend.
Thanks, Michelle.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. Starting us out towards the end of our work week here, the last day of the work week. We're starting out in the same fashion that we did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that. It's still muggy, it's still humid, still having a warm start to our day as it relates towards our temperatures already being up there towards the upper 70s or even to the low 80s in areas like Kingsville. And what's also consistent and lingering in the forecast are those winds coming in from the southeast, clocking nearby 20 to 25 miles an hour. And then we'll see an increase in our wind gusts by this afternoon to around by 40 miles an hour. So those winds are still going to be consistent in the forecast too, in a faster fashion, I might add. So looking at our temperatures and feel temperatures, again, things are still warm and humid. So we're going to see that reflected in our temperatures already up there into the upper 70s or even to the low 80s. And looking at our planner, we'll see our temperatures will gradually increase throughout the day, getting up towards the 80s by noon, or really, quite honestly, by midday, 10, 11 o'clock, and then increasing towards the upper 80s by noon or a little bit after lunchtime. We'll see stronger winds begin to really pick up later on this afternoon. Like I said, around 25 miles an hour to 30 miles an hour for sustained wind speeds, and wind gusts upwards around 40 miles an hour. So it's very strong winds we'll still have to deal with into the forecast today. And we'll see our temperatures get a bit of a break, so to speak, in terms of being a bit cooler today compared to yesterday. We hopefully shouldn't be seeing anyone getting towards the triple digits as it relates towards our high temperatures across the coastal bend this afternoon. 88 degrees for our forecast high temperature in Corpus Christi, 91 in Robstown. A bit warmer going further inland, seeing those temperatures increasing still towards the upper 90s, but again, hopefully not going to see any temperatures reaching towards the triple digits for our actual air temperatures. But for our feel temperatures, we'll still be feeling like in the hundreds just because all that moisture and humidity that's going to be out there in the forecast. It's been the forecast all this week, so it stays for us on this Friday for now. So we'll still be looking at feel temperatures again reaching towards the triple digits. So you still want to make sure you're being careful on that account of all that moisture and humidity adding towards the summer-like feeling for our weather conditions. But changes are going to be on the way with the cold front that's going to pass on through here in South Texas by this weekend. We'll be seeing our rain chances also increasing ever so slightly in a relation towards this cold front's passage. Really, we'll be seeing maybe a bit of a chance to see some showers passing through Sunday, or I should say Saturday morning, and maybe again overnight leading towards your Sunday morning. Again, it's not looking at anything being really truly beneficial in terms of rainfall totals, but just maybe a couple passing showers here and there throughout portions of the coastal bend Saturday morning and maybe overnight into your Sunday. And then we'll have that cold front ushering in very cool, dry conditions into the area. So we'll see a big cool down in our temperature ahead for your Sunday, dropping well below average, only going to make it to a high temperature of 69 degrees. And we'll see those cooler, below average temperatures stick around a bit in the forecast to the early part of next week until we start to cool down by the, or warm up rather, towards more seasonable temperatures by the midweek next week.
Mental health affects thousands across the Coastal Bend, but when it comes to students, Coastal Bend College is trying to help more. I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice, learning about the community college's new approach. Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Alice. When I walked the halls of Coastal Bend College here as a non-traditional student, there wasn't a resource to help students face barriers when it came to mental health. The school now has a program they say is aimed at helping students cope better. Adrian Lerma and Aris Gonzalez are former Cougars from Coastal Bend College. Both tell me they took on full schedules a few years ago while trying to manage school and life.
Outside of school, I was going through a lot of things.
Lerma was enrolled in college courses while attending high school classes.
It led to like a lot of burnout, a lot of stress, and not only that, I was working like 2 jobs, trying to make enough money.
Lerma insists had there been a better tool to help find balance, he would have taken advantage of it.
At the end of it, it's not about your grades, it's about your own health, your own well-being. If your grades are good and you still feel bad, you still feel bad. And it's going to cause more burnout and your grades aren't going to be good.
Just 2 months ago, years after Lerma graduated from CBC, the school is providing some relief to students. Cassandra Fanning leads the Cougar Care and You Will programs on the school's 4 campuses.
Cougar Care is important because we want to be able to remove any non-academic barriers. Our students, the ultimate goal is to graduate.
She's noticed in a short amount of time, students are registering for the free 24-hour services.
It is very important because our mental health is what drives us every day. So we have to make sure that we're taking care of our minds and our mental health so that we're able to thrive.
Director Fanning tells me the programs offer help with food insecurity and transportation as well.
I believe mental health these days aren't as realized, so I feel like to have someone come in and make it realized definitely gives a new opportunity for students.
Lerma and Gonzalez work at the Alice campus and tell me they plan to share information about the programs with students they meet. Coastal Bend College leaders tell me they hope their enhanced approach to helping students tackle mental health barriers will improve students' chances to graduate. Reporting in Alice, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Melissa Trevino, Chris 6 News.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our first community bank Skycam atop the USS Lexington. We can see things are moving pretty well on the Harbor Bridge. Our Skycam was a bit shaky in the last traffic hit that we did. Looks like we're getting a bit of a pause from those windy conditions, but I promise you still have those winds clocking around 20 miles an hour with wind gusts. Oh, there's a shake, it's happening. That might be from the wind gusts. The wind gusts are going around 30 to 35 miles an hour this morning, but you can look at traffic flows moving pretty well on the Harbor Bridge at this moment. Let's go ahead and move on now towards our Skycam atop SPID there. We can see the roadways are beginning to get a little bit more busy as folks start their morning on this Friday, heading on to work, where we get in towards the weekend. Now let's go and look at our visibility, where we can see things are looking pretty good across the board. Most of us looking at around 9 to 10 miles of visibility. Still some of that lingering sea fog across parts of our coastal neighborhoods. So Rockport, Port Aransas looking at around 4 miles of visibility this morning. So you just want to make sure you're driving carefully if you have to go through some of that patchy fog throughout those types of neighborhoods. More details on your forecast coming up after the break.
Julia, thank you so much. So you can dive into some new adventures this Coastal Bend weekend. Still ahead on Chris 6 Sunrise, a look at some of the events happening in your neighborhood.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Good morning and welcome on back. We're taking a live look now outside off our Whataburger Skycam across from Whataburger Field, where you can see the Harbor Bridge off in the distance. You can see some folks getting their morning started, making their way on out the door. Can expect some breezy conditions right now. We see our winds coming in from the southeast, still going around 20 miles an hour with those sustained winds, wind gusts upwards around 30 to 35 miles an hour. I said on Monday that we'll be looking at those wind speeds coming in pretty strong throughout the remainder of our work week, and on this Friday, things are still pretty gusty and windy right now. But I'll get more into our current forecast for today in just a few more moments. Let's first actually go over what we can expect for the 2025 hurricane season. So we have meteorologist Stephanie Lauber and Zuleika Soler that are at the National Tropical Weather Conference, and they heard yesterday from Colorado State University on the forecast of what we can expect for this upcoming hurricane season. So it's going to be expected to be yet another above average season in terms of very active storms. So we are anticipating at least 17 named storms in the forecast for this upcoming hurricane season. At least 9 of those storms rather, will be hurricanes, and 4 of those could potentially be major hurricanes in the forecast for this year. Hurricane season's only 58 days away from its first start date for us this year, so we'll just see what's going to happen for us, where we can expect on how this forecast is going to hold on and stay true and strong for us. But let's go and take a look at our current temperatures right now here in Corpus Christi, sitting at 77 degrees, 80 over in Kingsville, 76 in Alice. Still warm and humid to start across the coastal bend, so that's where we're going to see those warmer temperatures already up there towards the upper 70s across the majority of our neighborhoods this morning. Looking at our hour by hour, we will start to warm up towards the lower 80s by 10, 11 o'clock, and then we'll also see our winds gradually increase, going strongly around 22 up to 25 miles an hour by this afternoon. And then we'll see our temperatures continue to increase, going towards the upper 80s by 2, 3 o'clock, and also again seeing those continuous faster wind speeds continuing to grow in their intensity and strength over the course of our afternoon. We'll see our wind gusts going upwards around 35 miles an hour this morning, increasing to around 40 miles an hour wind gusts by this afternoon. So again, just still dealing with those strong gusty winds coming in from the southeast, just adding towards those more intense moisture that's coming in to the area, which of course then ties in towards our feel-like temperatures, which will once again still reach towards the triple digits by this afternoon across most of our neighborhoods. Thankfully, we will be looking at our high temperatures today, just barely falling under the triple digit scale, especially for inland neighborhoods. But as we saw, we're still going to be feeling like it across the area by this afternoon. Changes are coming, though, thankfully. We'll have a cold front that's going to pass on through into the coastal bend by the time you look ahead towards your weekend, beginning on Saturday, heading towards your Sunday. That's the time frame we're looking at that cold front to pass on through. And along with this cold front, we could see some rain chances popping on in. Not looking very likely, though. Maybe some passing showers early in the morning your Saturday, and another round potentially overnight in towards your Sunday. But again, these rain chances are not looking very promising. We're not looking at truly beneficial rainfall amounts from this potential rainfall event as this cold front passes on through. But what this cold front will give us is going to be cooler, well below average temperatures that will begin on Sunday, 69 degrees, and then continue to warm up gradually to more seasonable temperatures by next Wednesday.
Now, the local
It's time to draw your attention to all the excitement as we animate this week's Coastal Bend weekend. As we illustrate what's happening in your neighborhood, let's start on the west side. This Saturday, dive into oceans of excitement with the Gulf Reach Institute as it celebrates the unveiling of a brand new children's book and animated series, Coral Curiosities of the Deep.
It's extremely important because it talks about the Deep Horizon spill, but also the restoration efforts that scientists are doing to really recover and bring these species back. These are deep sea corals, so we don't see them, but we do affect them. This is also the first time that we really focused a children's book and characters of the deep sea here in the Gulf.
Not only will you get an exclusive sneak peek of the animated series, but there's also face painting, interactive ocean-themed games, and free giveaways. You can have a whale of a time at the Antonio E. Garcia Education Center from 1 to 4 p.m. Now, if you'd rather test your luck and hit the jackpot by supporting veterans in our neighborhood, you can join the Clean and Sober Poker Run. Participants will visit various stops to collect playing cards. At the end of the ride, the best hand will win cash prizes. The starting point is Coffee Waves in Flower Bluff on Saturday at 9:15 in the morning. It's $20 to participate, and the proceeds go to Roommates in Recovery Veterans House Incorporated, which provides a supportive living space for veterans struggling with addiction. If you're looking to rock out for a good cause, don't miss the Rock Into Inclusion benefit concert on Saturday night at the House of Rock. It's a pretty sound investment. You'll jam to some music while supporting children with special needs. Tickets are only $10, and all proceeds benefit Joaquin Into Inclusion, a nonprofit dedicated to empowering educational institutions and childcare facilities to create inclusive spaces for every child. Doors open at 6 p.m. When you're craving something tasty this Coastal Bend weekend, the 10th annual Corpus Christi Food Truck Festival is rolling in this Saturday at 1520
120 North Water Street by the American Bank Center. Bring your appetite because there will be tons of gourmet food trucks. You'll also find vendors and family-friendly activities. It kicks off at noon and runs until 10 p.m. And don't miss out on the mariachi magic this weekend. The 5th annual Festival de Mariachi at TAM-UCC is said to be bigger and better than ever. Be prepared to be swept off your feet with every note. Beyond the mariachi music, enjoy food trucks, a grito contest, local vendors, face painting, arts and crafts, and workshops for aspiring musicians and enthusiasts looking to master the art of mariachi. For ticket info and the full schedule, head to our website.
And of course, folks, we also have more information on events happening in your neighborhood. Just visit our website, christv.com. And if you want to see your event featured on a future Coastal Bend Weekend segment, make sure you send us a message.
All right, now taking a live look outside of our CCAC Skycam over at Snoopy's Pier. We see a couple cars going on by on the JFK Causeway, but only just a few. Really just one right now at this moment. So that means if you have to head to and from the island at this hour, you're looking at not really greeting too many of your neighbors on the roadways there on the JFK Causeway at the moment. Let's go ahead now and move on towards our Whataburger Skycam over Whataburger Field, where you can see things are a bit more busy on the Harbor Bridge compared to the JFK Causeway this morning. A lot more folks heading towards and from the Portland area at this hour. So you can expect to have it to be just a little bit more busy, but again, still easy traffic flow and no traffic issues heading on over towards the Harbor Bridge. Let's go ahead and now take a look now at your current visibility across the coastal bend. We can see most of us are looking at pretty much 10 miles of visibility across the board, but we do have some lingering sea fog for areas that are along the coast. This includes Rockport and Port Aransas, dealing with around 4 miles of visibility. So you want to make sure you're driving carefully if you're heading out towards those areas in those neighborhoods right now. That's it for Chatport. More details on your forecast coming up.
More expensive imports. I'm Michaela Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. I'll tell you how a new tariff announcement is going to affect local businesses that rely on imported goods and how that could even affect you.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hey, Chris 6 Sunrises, we want to wish you a great day today. Enjoy it.
Hey, good morning, and we hope you enjoy your day too, Mr. City Manager Peter Zanoni. Now, if you want to send us your shout-out video, folks, you can scan the QR code on your screen or head to our website, christv.com.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
We are starting our 20 minutes of non-stop news by giving you this live look from one of our sky cams overseeing the beautiful city of Corpus Christi. Looking pretty good so far. 77 degrees outside right now. Of course, we will check in with meteorologist Julia Quady in just a bit to see how our forecast is looking for today and the weekend. But first, we have some of your national headlines. So China just announced this morning it will impose reciprocal 34% tariffs on all imports from the U.S. on April 10th. This after President Trump unveiled an additional 34% tariff on Chinese goods on Wednesday. The president also announced tariffs of a minimum of 10% on all countries. Now, a tariff, simply put, is a tax on goods that are shipped in from other countries. The new tariffs add to a sweep already in place aimed at returning factories and jobs to the U.S., but U.S. businesses will be forced to pay added costs and likely pass that on to you on everything from computers, clothes, and groceries. Now, one key industry people are talking about, cars. Whether it's a new car or parts for your trusty ride, expect those prices to be driven up in the coming months. Now, right now, tariffs on automobiles are 25%. Neighborhood news reporter Tony Jaramillo spoke to the general manager of BMW Corpus Christi, who said while some cars will be impacted, many of their models are built here in the U.S., which could spare customers from price hikes.
Some manufacturers, they've come out, BMW in particular has actually come out and said inventory units, inbound units, we're going to keep the same price, we're not raising anything. Some other manufacturers have decided not to do that.
Economists say the impacts of the new levies on investors and the global automotive industry will play out over the next months, even years to come.
One reason imported goods are so popular is because sometimes they could be cheaper, but that could be changing. I'm Michaela Chavez, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. With new tariffs announced by President Donald Trump, local businesses like La Michoacana Meat Market say they're expecting to take a big hit. La Michoacana Meat Market sells all kinds of products, but they aren't from the U.S.
Almost everything that we get here comes from Mexico, and of course it will affect us.
It's all imported goods, but with Trump's new tariff announcement, that could be a problem. There's now a 10% tariff on most of them.
We have no other option but to buy from Mexico. Everything comes from Mexico.
That's Clara Franco. She's worked at La Michoacana for 6 years. I asked what this could mean for their staff since imported goods might get more expensive.
I think there will be options in the future, but right now, when things are expensive and salaries are stagnant, I don't see any option right now. It's very difficult.
Those price hikes could also affect customers.
And for the owner to make a profit, they have to raise the prices of the goods.
Franco says the tariff will have a domino effect.
Those who come to buy things won't get a raise either, and they have to buy more expensive things.
That effect hurting in more ways than one.
If the government doesn't think about us, then who will?
The tariff announcement, still fresh for both consumers.
I think if I put myself in their shoes, I'm saving money for what might happen later.
And businesses.
Most businesses are surviving by thinking about what's going to happen next.
And while some countries vowed retaliation against the tariffs, others are holding off for now. The tariffs are set to take effect on April 9th. With your neighborhood news on the West Side, I'm Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise.
Hey there, good morning, happy Friday. So we made it to the last day of our work week with the weekend just ahead. And to start us out on this Friday morning, things are looking similar to yesterday and the day before that. Still feeling muggy, windy, and warm across the coastal bend. Those temperatures already reaching towards the upper 70s to low 80s throughout some neighborhoods right now at this hour. Corpus Christi sitting at a temperature of 77 degrees, 76 over in Beeville, 75 in Port Aransas, Rockport sitting at 76 degrees. We still have those winds coming in from the southeast, clocking around 15 up to 20 miles an hour. So I kind of said on Monday that we'll be expecting those strong wind speeds and fast wind speeds coming into the forecast throughout the work week, and that's lasted for us now, even heading towards this Friday. So we'll be looking at our visibility too. We'll see those are looking pretty decent across the majority of the coastal bend, but we can't expect that lingering sea fog to still be affecting parts of our coastal neighborhoods. So over in Port Aransas and Rockport, still looking at around 4 miles of visibility heading out the door, so just make sure you're being careful on that front. Looking at our temperatures by this afternoon, we will see those increase and be a little bit cooler though compared to yesterday. Only going to have a high temperature of 88 degrees here in Corpus Christi, 91 in Robstown, 92 degrees over in Kingsville, and 97 in Alice for your high temperature by this afternoon. Across the coastal bend, we should be looking at no neighborhoods reaching the triple digits for our actual air temperatures, but for our feel like temperatures, we'll still be reaching that and maybe a little bit above throughout some neighborhoods by this afternoon. 3 o'clock, we'll be looking at across the coastal bend, triple digit feel like temperatures in the area, 104 over in Kingsville, and feeling like 100 degrees on the dot by 3 o'clock this afternoon here in Corpus Christi. So you still want to make sure you're practicing that heat safety, keeping yourself hydrated because of these summer-like conditions still lingering in the forecast. Looking at our big weather picture, we can see we will have changes coming in the area by way of another cold front that's going to pass through the coastal bend. Right now, it's just now passing through Austin, eventually approaching us here in the coastal bend by the time we reach your Saturday, heading towards your Sunday. And also related towards this cold front a bit is our rain chances. Now, we saw those dwindling day by day by day until we reach this upcoming weekend. Now, at this point, our rain chances still aren't looking very promising. Maybe a couple passing showers possible early in the morning on your Saturday, and maybe another round for specifically areas that are along the coast as you look ahead towards your Saturday night and towards your Sunday morning. But again, just count yourself lucky if you see any shower activity at all this weekend, because again, it's very slim to none for our rain chances. But what this cold front will do for us is going to give us a big change in our temperatures. So after it passes on through Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll see our temperatures drop significantly low, well below average. Only going to have a high temperature of 69 59 degrees on our Sunday, and we'll see that weather pattern pretty much last as we look ahead towards the early part of next week. But what's also going to happen with this cold front's passage is that we'll see very dry air come back to the forecast, so that is going to increase our fire danger. That's going to begin on your Sunday, go back to that high risk, and that's going to be maintained throughout the early part of next week. So that's going to be a concern for us that we'll have to deal with next week in the forecast. But look at your 7-day. We can see again, warm up today and then cooler temperatures on the way.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
In the 6 things you need to know, gas prices rose again this past week, and it was a bigger jump than the previous week. AAA says gasoline jumped by more than 10 cents to $3.26 a gallon this past week. It says refinery maintenance and the switch to a summer blend are among the factors driving the increase. The last time the national average for a gallon of regular gas was $3.26 was in September. AAA says that's consistent with seasonal shifts, and it says current prices remain below the level seen this time last year. Right now in your neighborhood, according to GasBuddy.com, the cheapest gas is $2.52 a gallon. The Corpus Christi Police Department need your help identifying an aggravated robbery suspect. According to police, on March 16th, this man stole a case of beer from a convenience store on Alameda Street. When the clerk confronted him, the man fired a shot from a handgun. The suspect then took off in a dark-colored car. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 361-888-TIPS. The power is back on at the Broadway Tower office building on North Upper Broadway. Our neighborhood news reporters have been on top of this story, and the power was turned off at 3 a.m. Tuesday, and tenants were sent letters stating electricity would be restored on Wednesday. We checked yesterday and confirmed the electricity is back on. As we've reported, Broadway Tower had other issues with utilities. Seventh-day Adventist Church will be hosting their second annual community health fair this weekend. It will take place on Sunday from 2 to 5 p.m. at Cole Park. You can stop by and get free health screenings, including cholesterol, blood pressure, and diabetes, along with information that can help you achieve your health goals. In honor of Lent, Our Lady of Perpetual Help is hosting their annual Lenten Fish Fry. The fish fries will take place today and next Friday from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Plates cost $12, and you can choose from fish, shrimp, or a combo plate. You can even get your plate delivered. Our Lady of Perpetual Help is located at 5830 Williams Drive, and all proceeds benefit the Our Lady of Perpetual Help Academy. The Gregory Portland High School and middle school bands have made district history. The 6 bands spread across the 2 schools competed in the UIL site reading evaluation, where each band performs a set of songs and must perform songs they see for the first time. And this year's competition marked the first time all 6 school bands competed, and it was a successful first year. Each band scored straight ones across the board, bringing with them 6 new trophies. Neighborhood news reporter Adam Beam sat down with those students, and you can catch that story tonight at 6 p.m. right here at Chris 6.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our sky cam over on SPID. We can see those roadways are beginning to look a lot more busy as folks get their morning started on this Friday, head out the door, get their day started too. So we can see you'll be looking at maybe greeting a couple more of your neighbors on those roadways heading on SPID on either direction there at this moment. Moving on now on over towards our First Community Bank sky cam atop the USS Lexington. It's a bit of a jumpy sky cam on the front of those faster wind speeds coming from the southeast, clocking nearby 20 miles an hour this morning, wind gusts upwards around 30, 35 miles an hour. So just make sure you're driving safely, holding on towards that steering wheel tight. Just make sure you're not going to get dragged along with those faster wind gusts that we'll be experiencing throughout the day today. Let's go ahead now and look at that current visibility across the coastal bend, looking at near 9 to 10 miles of clear visibility. But we do have that lingering sea fog for coastal neighborhoods like Rockport and Port Aransas, looking at around 4 miles of visibility. More details on your forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Julia, thank you so much. So spring savings are the name of the game this month, with competing sales events at big box retailers like Lowe's and Home Depot. But local garden centers are in on the action too. Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matarese shows us what's worth buying this month so you don't waste your money.
After a long, stuffy winter, you may be ready to dive into spring. And that's why April is a great month to find savings on everything for the outdoors, plus some bonus savings as well. Lauren Anderson and her corgi are getting their yard ready for spring.
Just some perennials and shrubs for landscape install and some pansies for the spring.
With help from garden center owner Todd Baton, who says now is a great time to buy mulch, grass seed, hardy flowers like these pansies and other early bloomers.
So this is little baby vincas of all different colors.
But he cautions against buying annual summer flowers until May unless they're in a pot you can move indoors.
Hanging baskets can always be brought inside, so a lot of people will buy those a little bit early to get the color combinations that they want.
Samantha Gordon, deals editor with Consumer Report, says you'll find discounts on all sorts of lawn care tools and accessories in April, like lawnmowers, leaf blowers, string trimmers, and chainsaws, as well as items for spring cleaning.
Vacuums and steam mops, carpet cleaners. Air purifiers are a big one this time of year.
And since Mother's Day comes early this May, expect Mother's Day deals to crop up toward the end of the month on clothing, jewelry, and flowers.
Those online delivery services will have some discounts potentially around there, some special offers.
Memorial Day sales are around the corner, but you may want to shop soon for things like grills, with some stores warning of price increases coming in May. So if you need something now, scan this QR code to see all the deals tracked by Consumer Reports. And head out to your local garden center. You're going to be coming here all spring?
Yeah, I come all summer through the fall and everything. They can't get rid of me.
That way you don't waste your money. John Matarese, Scripps News Group.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year. 78 spellers from 78 schools across South Texas are competing for the chance to go to the national competition in Washington, D.C. next month. The regional spelling bee, held in Flower Bluff ISD's auditorium, will air on Chris TV this Saturday at 6 p.m. I kind of want to watch it. I already know the results, but I kind of want to rewatch it to see again how things played out and maybe try spelling it along with the contestants. I know some of the words, maybe.
Oh, so that cheating then, because you remember what some of the words were.
Yeah, because I was a judge, but I don't have the paper in front of me, so that's not technically cheating.
Okay, try it. Let me know how it goes.
You try it too.
I know my limitations. This is why I'm a meteorologist. I'm not made for spelling like that. Especially off top the dome. That's just, I don't know, something about that just makes me so anxious that even like simple words, I'll second guess myself. Like, I don't know, it's just, I get frazzled.
Now spell weather. The question is, you got to ask which one, right?
Hey.
See?
That's cute. Well, I can tell you about it, though.
Well, thank you, Julia. All right, what's going on?
Things are going to be muggy, humid, and windy yet again for us this morning on this Friday. We'll see a change coming in the forecast, though, looking ahead towards this weekend. But before we get into all that, right now, let's go and take a look at our dog walking forecast and first introduce our star. We have Bear ready for their dog walk today. Now, I would encourage you maybe to get that done sooner rather than later, just because if you want to avoid those hotter temperatures that we'll definitely have to deal with by the time we head towards this afternoon. Feel like temperatures will be back towards the triple digits as well. So if you want to avoid that, to go ahead and get that dog walk done a little bit early this morning. We'll see temperatures barely start to make it towards the lower 80s as we start to approach 10, 11 o'clock this morning, and then reaching the mid to upper 80s by lunchtime. We'll also see our winds begin to gradually increase, becoming more strong and gusty by the later hours this morning and heading towards this afternoon too. Right now we have those wind speeds for the most part reaching around 18 to 20 miles an hour, thereby increasing up to 20 to 25 miles an hour by this afternoon. We'll be looking at our temperatures being a tad bit cooler today compared to yesterday. Still feeling like a continuation of our summer-like stint, though, in terms of our weather conditions, but looking at slightly cooler temperatures, only reaching 88 degrees here in Corpus Christi, 91 over in Robstown for your high temperature, 92 in Kingsville, 97 over in Alice. One big difference, too, that most of us will be looking at, no neighborhoods hopefully reaching the triple digits as it relates towards your actual air temperatures. While I feel like temperatures, they'll still make it back up towards the triple digits by 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. All of us will be reaching around 100 degrees here in Corpus Christi by 3 o'clock, 104 over in Kingsville, and 103 in Robstown for your feels like temperature by 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. But like I said, we got changes coming, and this is all going to be coming in because of this cold front that's going to pass on through by this weekend. Right now, it's a bit of just a frontal boundary at the moment, passing through portions of central Texas, approaching Austin. By the time it reaches us here in the coastal bend, it will be a full-fledged cold front that's going to do a couple things for us. One is maybe give us a potentially see some rain chances in the forecast. Right now, it's not looking very promising. Our rain chances kind of begin to taper off and dwindled as we went throughout our work week, so it's going to be consistent for us today on this Friday too. Right now, looking at our rain chances, only couple stray showers possible, maybe early on your Saturday morning, and yet another round maybe coming into the overnight in towards your Sunday. Just count yourself lucky if you see any showers that do pass through the area as look head towards your Saturday. And another big story for us from this cold front passage is cooler temperatures on the way. By the time we get towards your Sunday, looking at a high temperature of around 69 degrees, and then we'll be looking at well below average temperatures sticking around the forecast even to the early part of next week. Only start to see a bit of a bump towards more seasonable temperatures by the time we reach your Wednesday, but another negative caveat that's going to be added towards this cold front's passage is an increase of our fire danger, just because we'll be looking at fast winds coming in from the north, dry vegetation, and then also too very dry air that will be in place.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for the heads up, Julia, and thank you folks for joining us. We hope you guys have a fantastic weekend and a great day.
Have a
we'll
good
see you
one.
soon.